Well, a very, very happy Wednesday morning to everyone, and welcome to the John Kentera Show on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Glad you could join us this morning. Boy, I'll tell you what, I don't think I've been without a smile since last night. I mean, what a win. Not for just the Padres, but how about those Halos, those Angels? They beat the Dodgers again last night in 10 innings, 7-6. Joe Adell chopped one by the third baseman into left field, brought in the winning run in the bottom of the 10th. And once again, the Angels take down the Dodgers 7-6 last night. They've beaten the Dodgers 5 times this year, a perfect 5-0. They'll go for 6-0 tonight at the Big A. Ohtani going to be on the mound tonight for the Dodgers, but he's only going to go probably 3, 4, maybe at the most 5 innings. He hasn't gone 5 innings this year, but the Padres are taking care of business. They won again last night, played a heck of a ball game, and pulled it off last night after winning on Monday night 4-1. They won last night 5-1. We'll get into that, but right now, the Padres and Dodgers tied for first place in the National League West. And you know what? I know everybody's talking about the Dodgers having lost a ton of ball games recently. In fact, in their last 32 games, they're 12-20, and they've blown a 9-game lead. And that's all well and good. But we need to talk more about how well our Padre ball club is playing. I mean, they're doing everything right now they need to do. And, I watched, quite frankly, I watched more of the Dodger game and Angel game last night than I did the Padres game. Padres get out to the 3-1 lead. Second inning, Jose Iglesias hits the 2-run homer. And I was going back and forth. I'll probably have to put new batteries in my TV machine today. Okay, my little clicker. I was going back and forth, back and forth. Now, today, the Padres play at 12:45. They got Nick Pivetta going against a young right-hander for San Francisco. And then tonight, the Dodgers and Angels play. So Padres win today. They're putting even more heat on the Dodgers tonight because the Padres technically would be a half game up. And this Giant team, oh my God. I was listening to KNBR last night after the game. I was listening to them this morning before I came on. I mean, the Dodgers, everybody's talking about the Dodgers collapsing, but they're also talking about how bad the San Francisco Giants are. They can't score runs. They cannot score runs. And their pitching's been okay, but look at it. The Padres have beaten their 2 best starters each of the last 2 nights. They got Logan Webb, and then they got Robbie Ray last night. So we need to talk more about how well the Padres are playing. And when I was watching the game last night, and I realized the Dodgers have had all kinds of injuries to their everyday players, to their pitching staff. And by the way, their bullpen just absolutely horrendous right now. Horrendous. The starting pitching has been much better in the month of August. But the bullpen, I think from all those early innings, they're completely fallen off the radar. I mean, Blake Trinan came in last night. He was able to get out of a jam he pitched himself into, but he doesn't look like the same guy. Vesia, who's had a pretty good year, but he's given up a career-high 8 home runs already. He struggled last night, couldn't throw strikes in the late innings. They're trying to get Tanner Scott back, who they signed to a big money deal. He's been awful this year. Michael Kopech trying to come back from meniscus surgery, and he's making progress. Kirby Yates, who they signed, is on the IL right now, and he hadn't been very good. Evan Phillips isn't coming back. He's having Tommy John. And then Tony Gonsolin, who was a starter, he had brace surgery on his shoulder yesterday, so he's done for the year. I mean, Dodge got all kinds of problems. But when I'm watching the game last night, and I'm going back and forth, the difference between the Padres and Dodgers right now, the Padres have the eye of the tiger. I mean, they're intense. I mean, bringing in these new guys, I got to tell you, has made all the difference in the world. Ramon Laureano been fantastic. Freddie Fermin's been fantastic. Nestor Cortez, even though he didn't get the win last night, he only gave up 1 swinging bunt RBI single to Wilmer Flores, gave up 6 hits in 4 2/3, but nonetheless did a pretty good job. JP Sears had the 1 start. He got sent to AAA. They're going to rework some things with him. We'll probably see him back at some point in time. Mason Miller had 1 hiccup, but other than that, he's been absolutely fantastic. Ryan O'Hearn had the big home run in Arizona, really hasn't got hot yet, but there's just a different attitude with this Padre ball club right now. And I watched the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are kind of hoping, wishing things would happen. They're not making things happen like they used to. Now, Mookie Betts has come alive recently. Ohtani hit another home run last night. He's got 43. Led off the ninth inning against his Kenley Jansen, who hadn't given up a run for weeks, and took him out of the ballpark. And then Nolan Shonowell tied it up in the bottom of the ninth on a sac fly, and then the Angels won it on that chopper by Joe Adell. But there's just a different feeling right now watching Padre baseball compared to Dodger baseball. And it looked like the Padres were dead and buried when they were 9 games back. We knew they'd probably squeak in as the third wild card. We had no aspirations that they would be able to come back and overcome a 9-game deficit. But right now, they're playing great baseball, and they can win this damn thing. They've got better starting pitching for the most part, and we'll see how King and Cease and Pivetta continue. Right now, Nick Pivetta having by far the best year of his career. I was looking at his numbers. His ERA under 3. He's never finished a major league season with an ERA under 4. So he's pitching out of his tail right now. We're hoping Michael King, and we're going to see him in the Dodgers series. We're going to see Cease in the Dodgers series. Now, I would imagine we're going to see Yu Darvish in the Dodgers series. Nobody's said who's pitching when. But right now, the Padres are doing a lot of great things, and they've got a stabilizing guy behind the plate. I told you the day that they got Freddie Fermin, this guy could play. I don't care if you gave up Bergert and Kolek. This guy is a difference maker behind the plate. Not only that, he swings the bat pretty well. He's a tough out, doesn't strike out much. Had another hit last night, had a home run on Monday night. And I'm not going to say the guy's going to hit 300, but he's going to hit 260 to 270, and he's right there right now. But he's doing a great job behind the plate, and he's still learning this staff. Ramon Laureano's been fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Manny's had a consistent year. Now Jackson Merrill. Tuesday night, a homer, a double, starting to get it going. Xander Bogaerts, over the last 6 weeks, has probably been the Padres' best offensive player, and that's counting Manny Machado. So the Padres got a lot of things working right now. And their bullpen is ridiculously good. Ridiculously good. I mean, you could play a 4-inning game. You could have your starter go 4 innings, and you can start rolling guys in. And how about David Morgan? David Morgan, nobody even knew who this guy was. He's pitching in Double-A, and they bring him up, and this guy's pitching to an under 2 ERA right now. And not only does he come in and pitch an inning, he'd go multiple innings. He can go a couple of innings for you. And you've got all those guys down there, Jason Adam and Morahone and Estrada. And then you go with Mason Miller and you go with Robert Suarez. I mean, this is amazing what has gotten put together in a short period of time. I mean, A.J. Preller hit oil when he made all these trades. And we're going to get into A.J. Preller because I would imagine some of you paid attention to Nick Canepa's column on Sunday in the paper. And I'm going to get to that in a few minutes. But I want your questions today. 42 games for both ball clubs. Whoever wins the most in the next 42 is going to be crowned NL West champion. And right now, Mike Schultz got his team playing a hell of a lot better than Dave Roberts has his team playing. So we'll see what happens today. It's a big game. Big game today for the Padres. And you know what? You know it's big because last night, even though the Padres will play it down and not, hey, we just got to play great baseball, all the TVs in the Padre clubhouse at Oracle Park last night were focused on the Dodger-Angel game. So they can say they're not scoreboard watching. I'm calling BS on that. They were watching the game. Probably drinking a beer. Well, maybe not. They were watching the game, but maybe not drinking a beer. But they're paying attention. But right now, they've got the eye of the tiger. And Mike Schultz has done a good job. Got this team really, really well focused. They're playing it one day at a time, and they got a great chance to sweep the Giants. The Giants are a mess. Absolutely a mess right now. I mean, their bullpen isn't great. They traded off Rogers, and they traded off Camilo Doval, who was kind of up and down. Their starting pitching's not bad. but their bullpen's not good, and they can't hit a lick. I mean, the only guy that had did anything at all for him on Tuesday night is my old buddy, the third baseman from Eastlake, playing second base now for the Giants. Casey Schmidt, he had 4 hits last night, 4 for 5, and I'm glad Case is doing well. Always believed in him. Represented him coming out of high school, actually. When I was working for John Boggs, I'd go down and hit with him and his dad down at Eastlake, and he's a great kid. Went on and had a great career at San Diego State. Always pull for Case. Always believed he could play. I thought a lot of teams made a mistake. Even though he went to San Diego State, I thought a lot of teams, when he was coming out of Eastlake, made a mistake and didn't draft him. Some teams wanted him to be a catcher. Others wanted him to, play third. Some people actually thought he could pitch, which he did at San Diego State and did a great job. But nonetheless, Padres are playing great baseball, and they've got a tremendous opportunity this afternoon at Oracle Park to sweep the Giants. And then get in an airplane, fly to LA, have an off day tomorrow, and get geared up for 3 games. I'll tell you right now, this Giant team, they're rolling over. They're done. They are done. Now, they may come out in a home game today, afternoon game. Padres are kind of looking forward to getting out of town. Hopefully the Padres keep the eye of the tiger, and they come out today and just kick ass right from the get-go. And don't let the Giants up for air. Get to the airplane, get to LA, have a nice dinner tonight, have a nice off day, and be ready to kick ass over the weekend against the Dodgers. Then they come home Monday, and they got game 1 of a 4-game series against the Giants. No off day next week. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the Dodgers. So, man, this is going to be unbelievable baseball. I mean, unbelievable baseball. And, I don't care if I lose sleep this time of year. This is why I love baseball. That game last night, and I'm not talking about the Padre game, I'm talking about the Dodger-Angel game. That game last night had everything you could possibly want in a baseball game. I mean, a ton of twists and turns. I'll tell you the other thing. A.J. Preller just buried the Dodgers at the trading deadline. The Dodgers got Brock Stewart, who hadn't pitched well. Now he goes on the IL with shoulder inflammation, and they get Alex Call from the Washington Nationals. Right now, he can't hit with a tennis racket. He's been coming up in a couple of critical situations. He's not even hitting a loud foul ball. And the Padres got guys they got at the trading deadline that are tying ball games up with homers and giving them leads with base hits. I mean, I can't begin to tell you how excited I am about Padre baseball right now. We're going to get to your questions shortly, but let's recap the first couple of games. Monday night, Padres win 4-1. Yu Darvish, what more can you say about Yu Darvish? He's dropped his arm angle, and that ball from to left-hand hitters just running away. Now, his control, even though he didn't walk anybody the other night, still going deep into counts. And eventually that'll come back to catch up with you. But the other night, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, no walks, 6 strikeouts, gave up the home run to Devers the opposite way. That's all he gave up. And then you go to the bullpen. Jeremiah Estrada, 1 inning, a hit, a strikeout. Mason Miller came in, punched out the side in the 8th. Robert Suarez, a 1-2-3 ninth, stick a fork in the Giants on Monday night. Offensively, Monday night, Fernando came alive, had a couple of doubles, number 20 and 21, scored a run. Jackson Merrill, a big 6-inning RBI double, went 3 for 4. Gavin Sheets, we got him out of the witness protection program on Monday night. Did a hell of a job. 2 for 3, a 16th double. Cronenworth had an RBI, and our man Freddie Fermin, a 2-run homer in the 7th. So all in all, a great ball game. Padres 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position that night. Giants only left 3 runners on. They were 0 for 2. So you move on to game 2. Last night, Padres had 10 hits. Giants had 10 hits. You know what was amazing when I was writing these numbers up? The Giants left 11 runners on base on Tuesday night. They were 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position, yet they only scored 1 run. They couldn't get that guy around third base into the plate. They had to hold him up a couple of times. 1 for 7 for the Padres. They left 7 runners on. Hey, it helped Robbie Ray just brain cramp. It wasn't like he got his spike caught or anything last night in the first inning, but he balked home a run. with Jackson Merrill at the plate. Manning was on third, so he trotted in. And then Flores tied the game up in the first inning on that two-out swinging bunt up the third baseline. And then Iglesias put the Padres ahead to stay with a two-run homer in the second inning. Cronenworth had an RBI single in the fourth. Jackson Merrill leadoff homer to left center in the eighth. Padres Tuesday night had 5 extra base hits. Iglesias, a two-run homer. Merrill, his 9th homer, 17th double. Xander Bogaerts, his 26th double. And Ramon Laureano, his 19th double. And I mentioned Nestor Cortez, 4 2/3, 6 hits, 1 run earned, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Only thing he gave up was that swinging bunt. I mentioned Morgan. Now, Morgan came in, and he wasn't great last night. He gave up in 2/3 of an inning 2 hits and a walk, had a strikeout, but lowered his ERA down to 1.67. Jason Adam picked up the win in relief, 8-3 now with a 1.68 ERA. He won an inning and 2/3. They hit a strikeout. Morahone, an inning, a strikeout, dropped his ERA down to 1.96. And then in a non-save situation, Robert Suarez came in and went 1 inning, gave up a hit with a couple of punch outs. His ERA right now at 3.16. Now, offensively, last night, Padres, Fernando had a hit and a walk. He was on twice last night. He's hitting 263. Manning 1 for 4 with a walk. Bogaerts 1 for 4 with his double. Jackson Merrill 5 hits in the first 2 games, 2 for 4 last night. Ramon Laureano 2 for 3, a walk, a double, couple of runs scored. Iglesias a 2-run homer. Gavin Sheets a pinch hit but went 0 for 1, grounded out in the 8th inning. Cronenworth 1 for 4 in an RBI, and Freddie Fermin 1 for 4. So everybody pretty much contributing right now. Everybody pretty much contributing, getting the job done. We're going to get out to your live questions here momentarily, but I want to get to this article. And I meant to do it on Monday, but we had a lot to recap from the Boston series. And I'm going to read this to you a little bit. A lot of you, a high percentage of you, read Nick Canepa in the San Diego Union Tribune on page 2 every Sunday morning. I've been reading Nick for many, many years and know Nick, I think, pretty well. And Nick can be pretty negative. If he likes you, he likes you. If he doesn't like you, you got to suck it up a little bit, okay? Now, the article, and he doesn't write the headline, but it goes, Preller's unprecedented moves at deadline give Padres a chance. And as he always does, says me, on his way to this destination, A.J. Preller's last stand. The Padres president of baseball operations has traveled a highway not quite good enough to where he now finds himself, the exit to the community of maybe still not good enough. Things change in a couple of days, that's for sure. Now, if only he can avoid the outcome of the first and more historic last stand and win a decade-long battle that has been both expensive and futile. That's true. This has been a very expensive ride under the Seidler-Preller fingerprints. Okay, there's been a lot of swings and misses, a lot of money spent, no doubt about it. Now, if only we can avoid the first and more historic last stand, like Custer's last stand. He goes, I say AJ has reached the last chance saloon. He's basically saying if Preller doesn't get it done this year, then, he's done. Now, remember, he's only got the remainder of this year and next year under his contract. The Padres haven't shown any inclination to this point to give him a contract extension. Now, that contract extension more than likely would come after this baseball season, if you're going to give it to him. Okay? And as we continue to read here, I say AJ has reached the last chance saloon because he has failed to produce a champion despite an incredible amount of work. Because his real champion, the late and remarkably loyal owner, Peter Seidler, no longer can carry his colors. Because I have to figure the Seidlers who are now managing the cash register can't have Peter's patience. Who can, in parentheses, and sooner or later have to point to the no return sign. And Preller can read that sign, and that's why he was July 31st trade deadline monster. As you may know, I've never been enamored with Preller's resume. The Padres simply have not won what matters during his long tenure and dropped hundreds of millions in crumbs along the way while filling Petco as if admittance is free. I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. And I want your opinion on this. I'm going to read a little bit more. But what Preller did at the deadline, while most everyone else was sleeping at the wheel, is unprecedented in the history of baseball. With his unremarkable team sitting near the top of the Dodgers' heavy National League West, he made 5 trades involving 22 players, and with the exception of minor league shortstop Leo DeVries, he had nothing to give. Preller made the team better than it was before the deadline. The Dodgers aren't invincible now, at least not yet, and baseball overall is not good. Preller obviously saw this and moved in like a second story man, robbing the afraid. Most of baseball people are afraid now, and he's given himself a chance. I'm not saying his Padres are going to win it all. With Fernando Tatis Jr. struggling at the plate, I'm not sure they're good enough, but is anyone else? It's the baseball man with their starting and relief pitching. The Padres have plenty enough to win. The frustrating part, as it has been for a while, is scoring enough runs, and the mysteries of Tatis aren't helping. And it goes on. Padres win close games. It matters. And then down at the bottom, it goes, AJ may be the wildest deadline GM in history. What I can't see here is the future. The once rich farm soil has been turned over. He's running out of trade product. And if this doesn't work, well, you should be able to see why this could be his final act. He does not build with farm equipment. Still safe for this guy. He tries in a profession when not everyone does. But the deadline acrobat doesn't have a benevolent Peter as a safety net anymore. He's under the new Seidler circus tent, so he could be flying without protection. And then it goes on and a little bit more, but you get the gist. He's basically saying if the Padres can't win it this year, then they probably need to make a change. And I'll be honest with you, I think there are certain people in the Padre organization that are not enamored with AJ. I think AJ had a lot of swings and misses, but I think over the last 3 or 4 years, he's done a hell of a job. I think it took him a while. I think it took ownership a while to get comfortable being baseball owners. And if you made a switch now, who are you going to bring in? Mike Rizzo, who's going to want to build the farm system back up? You know, everybody talked about it, and we talked about it. You know, what did the Padres really have to give at the trading deadline? And they gave up Leo DeVries. Leo DeVries is a shortstop of immense talent. He was a third-rated prospect in baseball, but that doesn't mean anything, really. It really doesn't until you play in the big leagues. And he may not play in the big leagues for 4 or 5 years. You know, we gave up Robert Hassel, and I know we gave up James Wood, and we gave up C.J. Abrams, and we gave up Mackenzie Gore to get Juan Soto. They were going for it. They were going for the World Series, and it didn't pan out, and now we got to sit and watch those guys be stars and all-stars for the next decade plus. I get that. But if we win one World Series, folks, isn't it all worth it? Isn't it all worth it? And we gave up Leo DeVries. I didn't want to give up Leo DeVries. But I don't mind giving up a Kolek and Berger. I mean, Kolek's 28 years old. It's not like he's some 21-year-old fireballer. Berger's 25 and showed a lot of signs of being a nice major league pitcher. But you got a frontline catcher that you got under control for like 3.5 years. I'll take that. We don't have a catcher. I mean, Salas got cleared to get back to baseball activity, but I don't know when he's going to be ready to play in the big leagues. This guy's hitting 188 in Double-A. He's 19 years old. I mean, we can sit here and we can point out to all the flaws of A.J. Preller. But as I sit here today, I'm excited about the 12:45 baseball game because if my Padres win today, they're a half game up on the Dodgers, and the Dodgers have got to play tonight, and they're playing against a team they haven't beat the last 5 times out this year. They're 5-0. We ought to send the Angels a Christmas card. They should be on our permanent Christmas card list. I mean, they're 5-0 this year, and dating back to last year, they won 6 in a row. Hell, they swept the Dodgers earlier this year at Dodger Stadium, and they dominated the series. So that's what Nick Canepa had to say. I want to hear what you have to say. You know, this ownership, I don't know about this ownership. They didn't take on a lot of money, by the way. They probably took on maybe $1.5 million. It wasn't like they opened up the coffers so AJ could go get all these players. AJ finagled Baltimore to pay a chunk of Laureano on a Hearns deal. And some of these other guys weren't making a whole lot of money, and the guys you were trading was almost offsetting it. So they took on last we heard was about $1.5 million. So we still don't know where ownership is. And we got a lot of issues. I know we're looking at right now. I want to stay focused. Now, I don't want to talk about next year, about Arise and King and Cease and whoever else may walk out the door. Ryan O'Hearn, he's a free agent. But I want to get to your questions this morning. Everybody ought to be fired up. If you're a Padre fan, you can't be fired up right now. You may want to call the doctor and have them check your blood pressure. You might be working at a little bit lower level than you need to be. Okay, let's get to questions today. Oh, thank you very much, O2RR. Very much appreciate that. Appreciate that super. We've had to endure being the doormat for many years, so enjoy the ride and let's seize this opportunity to finally dethrone the Dodgers. Go Padres. It's funny. I was getting ready this morning, O2RR, I was thinking about the opportunity that we left on the field last year. And the way we were playing this year, the way the Dodgers were playing, I thought, you know what? We missed our opportunity last year to win the World Series, not just to beat the Dodgers in the division play. We missed our chance to really win a World Series last year. But now, right now, we got a lot of momentum. And you know what? This team's better than last year. Early in the year, our team was not as good as last year's team. They weren't playing very well. They were kind of meandering along. They got off to that good start in March and April, and then all of a sudden, for a couple of months, they were basically a 500 ball club. And now, man, they've kicked it into high gear. And you know what? I think you got to give Mike Schilt a lot of credit. Mike Schilt, after the All-Star break, historically, dating back to his time with the Cardinals, definitely last year when the Padres went on a roll, and he goes, hey, we're going to be better in the second half. And, man, they've been fantastic in the second half. They're doing a little bit of everything and doing it all really, really well. And then to have that bullpen just absolutely lights out. Every once in a while, a guy's going to have a hiccup here and there, but, man, they can go to the next guy. Next man up. Right now, Padres are playing as good as any team in baseball. And they're playing with a tremendous amount of confidence, putting the ball in play, not striking out a high percentage of the time. But you know what? 42 games to the finish line. Let's keep rolling. O2RR, thank you very much for that super. Very much appreciate that. That's very kind. Mike, Padres are definitely looking rejuvenated post-trade deadline. Shout out to AJ Preller. AJ just doing his thing, man. Just doing his thing. And you know what? He's kind of a Teflon man. He just goes about it. He takes shots. You know what? He just keeps moving. He's like a Big Ten fullback with a neck roll. Just keeps going straight ahead. Just keep going straight ahead. And he done an incredible job. I mean, think about this bullpen he's put together. Think about the last two trading deadlines. Getting Luis Arise, getting Jason Adam, Brian Hoeing, who, has battled injuries down in AAA, but another guy that, when he's healthy and really on the beam, he can help this bullpen. And then the guys he brought in, I mean, he's done a hell of a job. Last couple of years, we can go back and talk about 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. But you know what? Overall, last 4 or 5 years, man. I mean, they get in the playoffs this year, which they're going to. They'll have gotten into the playoffs 4 out of the last 6 years. How can you argue with that? You can't. I mean, there's so many organizations that would give anything to get into the playoffs, once every 5 or 6 years. Padres, they get in this year, they're gone to the playoffs 4 out of the last 6 years. That's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. And I know they've got the new wild card, but it doesn't matter. You're still getting the job done. You're playing winning baseball. You're playing winning baseball. Mike, thank you very much. And we're going to give AJ a shout out. All right. Hi, Coach. Given our drought in the division, would a division win mean more than playoffs, assuming we don't win a World Series? I don't know. I mean, we get to hang a National League West banner next year on opening day. That doesn't do a whole lot for me. I mean, I want to win the division and win the World Series. I want to be the best. And we know a lot of wild card teams have won the World Series, and that's good. They don't have to put up a division banner. They put up a World Series banner. I want a World Series. I'm 67 years old. I've been a Padre fan since before they even became a major league franchise. I laid in bed as a little kid listening to Al Schuss on the radio recreate Pacific Coast League games with Bobby Klaus and Jim Gentile. Okay? I want to win a World Series. I want to win a World Series. I don't care what it takes. I want to win a World Series. If you come in as a wild card, win the World Series, I'm okay. Long as you get into the tournament and have a shot to win the big banana, I'm okay with it. But it'd be nice to win a division title. We haven't won one since 2006, and that wasn't a great ball club. The division wasn't very good back then, I might add. But thank you very much for that question. That's a good question, but man, the bottom line, I want to win the World Series. Casey King. Right now, I hate to say it, but the Padres look like the better team and playing better than the Dodgers right now. I think not adding a closer deadline is biting the Dodgers in the rear. You know, Dave Roberts is not taking a lot of the heat right now. Andrew Friedman, the president of baseball operations, is taking a tremendous amount of heat because, you know, they had this kind of a hope diamond up there. They got all these great stars, and the pitching has gone sideways. And they had a chance to go out and get a Mason Miller. They definitely had a chance to get a Mason Miller, drop the ball. They could have got Duran, the kid from Minnesota who went to Philadelphia. Philadelphia is pretty damn good. They're pretty doggone good ball club. And that Duran coming out of the bullpen, he's another guy that throws over 100 miles an hour. I think if I looked at the National League right now, and in complete honesty, I think the Milwaukee Brewers right now are head and shoulders above every other team in the National League. They're doing everything well. They run, they bunt, they play great defense. They got outstanding pitch in their bullpen stuff. And Pat Murphy's got them playing at an extremely high level. And then I think it's Philadelphia. And then I think it's the Padres. And then I think it's probably the Dodgers, even though they've got their struggles. Dodgers right now are probably the fourth best team in the National League. And you could argue the Cubs are kind of going backwards a little bit. The Mets obviously haven't done real well. Mets may get in, but they're going to probably get in as the sixth team right now. But I think right now I got to go with Milwaukee, the Phillies, Padres, and Dodgers in that order. Those are the top four teams right now for me in the National League. Casey, we'll see. Today's going to be an interesting day. One team could go into Friday night with a one-game lead, or we could go into Friday night, both teams tied for first place. See what the Padres do in their afternoon game. See what the Dodgers do tonight against the Angels at the Big A. But Casey, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Omar Alonso Castro sounds like a great middle infielder, doesn't it? Probably a switch hitter, too, and hit from the right or left side of the plate. Omar Alonso Castro, a nice name. Do you think there's a chance Tatis is injured, or is the 60-plus game slump all mental? Well, you know, he's swinging the bat better, hitting a lot of ground balls, not getting the ball in the air. He had a couple of doubles on Monday night, but he's got, 4 home runs since May 28th? I don't think he's hurt. I think if he was hurt, they would give him a little more time off. They just gave him that one night off last week in Arizona. I don't think he's hurt. The one thing that I would suggest with him, it doesn't look like he's using his legs as much in his swing. It looks like his swing is also flattened out a little bit. That's why he's hitting more ground balls. But you know what? He got on base a couple times last night, had the 2 doubles on Monday night, and, you know, he's hanging in there. I mean, not having a great year, but, you know, he's not having an awful year either. My expectations for Fernando are much higher. Now, again, you know, when he goes to Dodger Stadium, he becomes a Superman. And, you know, getting him back in that environment, you know, 50,000 fans going crazy, calling you names and everything, might get him going. So we'll see on that, but I don't think he's hurt. I think if he was hurt, we'd know by now. But Omar, thank you very much. Very much appreciate that. Okay, Canis Lupus. I don't even know how to say that name. I don't agree with the opinion that is our last chance. We have some good young talent in the future. In 2026, looks like a great lineup. As long as team keeps payroll up, they're competing. Okay, I think what Nick Canepa was saying is they've got to make a decision on A.J. Preller. He's got 1 year to go, and it's like a manager. You're not going to send a manager to spring training with 1 year to go because you become a lame duck. So the Padres are going to have to make a decision one way or the other on A.J. Preller after this year. They cannot take him in to the 2026 season with his contract running out, because that is going to be the story daily. Is A.J. Preller coming back, or the Padres going to re-sign him? What are they going to do? And I got news for you. There are a lot of other organizations that would love A.J. Preller. A lot of organizations. I would think Washington, they fired Mike Rizzo, good baseball guy. They need somebody full time. They've got an interim right now. They got an interim manager. Colorado, they could use a guy like A.J. Preller. Bill Schmidt, good guy, but who knows? They may have a complete house cleaning in Colorado. I don't know what's going to happen. But you can't take A.J. into next season without a contract extension. That's what Nick Canepa was saying. It's his last chance. And who knows what the owners are thinking. We have no idea what the Padre owners are thinking, because we haven't heard from them other than one time. So it'll be interesting. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes with this Padre organization. So we'll see on that. But you can't take AJ into 2026 without giving him a contract extension if you want him to continue running the show here in San Diego. So that's what Nick Canepa was basically saying. This is his last shot. You got to win something that means something. To this point, the Padres have gotten in the play. They've never won a division title, nor have they got to the World Series. I think about when Kevin Towers was here, they won 4 division titles, got to 1 World Series. And, they had a good ball club. Won 98 games, still a club record. I don't know if this team can get hot and win 98 games this year. They got 42 to go. We'll see. But I appreciate that. But that's going to be the story going forward. And that's going to eventually become a distraction if it's not handled one way or the other. But thank you very much for the question. Omar, prospects are a dime a dozen. Machado prime is now, especially now that Bogart's being our best hitter as of late. The future Padres will run on Tatis and Merrill. I think that's very well said. I'm not worried about the prospects right now. You got guys that are in the prime of their career and starting to work their way out of the prime of career. And then you got Tatis and Merrill. Merrill's far from being in the prime of his career. He's 23 years of age. Fernando's 26. So he's coming into the prime of his career. But Fernando's mentally got to get with it. He just doesn't seem like he's totally dialed in and day out. There's some nights it looks like he's really into it. There's other nights looks like something's on his mind, like his girlfriend broke up with him in junior high, and he's got his dauber down a little bit. So I don't know what goes on with that guy off the field, nor do I care really. I hope, everything's going well for him. I don't want anybody to have personal problems. We all deal with things. But when you walk into that clubhouse for those 6-7 hours you're there, you got to be engaged. You got to be ready to go. And then when you walk back out, then you got to go back into everyday life. I know that sounds callous, but that's the way it is. It's tough. I know when I was coaching, even when I was playing in college, you might be dealing with some stuff with your family or girlfriend or whatever. But man, when you'd go into that locker room and hang with the guys for, how many hours you were there, and then you went out and became Joe Citizen again, and then you got to deal with everyday problems. But man, let baseball be your fun outlet. And I watch Fernando. I don't know what's going on from one day to the next. You don't know what you're getting out of him right now. And it's not so much talent-wise. He's got the talent. It's more the mental aspect and really grinding and really wanting to do something dynamic. I'm hoping by going to Dodger Stadium this week, he's always played great up there. Get him rejuvenated. Get him playing Fernando Tatis baseball. If we get him back playing like we've seen him in the past, man, that offense starts humming and he becomes a tremendous offensive catalyst. He's a good player now, but he's not the offensive catalyst we've seen in the past. That's my opinion. What are you seeing? Okay. But I'm not worried about the farm system. One thing AJ and his staff have done, they find arms. They're bringing guys up from the minor leagues that can pitch a little bit. And not only that, they're getting guys in the organization that other organizations want. So that gives you trade capital. Got to get some better position player. Man, AAA, we got nothing really in AAA this year. Not a whole lot. Haven't got a whole lot of help from AAA from position players, that's for sure. Okay, let's keep it rolling here. What else we got today? Joe, keep Preller. We're nothing without that man. The man can see the talent nobody can and isn't scared to make moves. Joe, I think that's very well put, and I think that's very fair. Yeah, we could go back and we could dissect every move that AJ Preller has made since he took over in 2014, in August of 2014. His first real season was 2015 with Justin Upton and Matt Kemp and James Shields and that crew. But we got to judge the man. First of all, the Padres, they didn't have a farm system when AJ Preller showed up. They didn't have a farm system. I mean, it was dog breath. And they had nothing. And they had nothing at the big league level. Nothing at all. And then the new ownership came in and they started building, and they had to give AJ plenty of time. And there were a lot of swings and misses, trading away Trey Turner and Max Fried. And, we could go on and on and on. Okay. But if the Padres get into the playoffs, there's no reason to think they're not going to get in the playoffs. Let's talk about current events. They'll have made the playoffs 4 out of the last 6 years. They haven't won a division title, but nonetheless, they've gotten into the playoffs 4 out of 6 years if they get in this year. So I'm not going to go back in ancient history. I think we all could talk about our early in our careers out, I struggled here, I struggled there. But, somebody was loyal enough, in AJ's case, Peter Seidler, to let him have some swings and misses and keep coming to the plate. And now he's come to the plate the last 6 years and put together some pretty good ball clubs. And this ball club right now is playing as well as any ball club they've had. I don't think anybody can argue with that. And the trade that he made at the trading deadline were the best in baseball. And it wasn't just like picking up 1 or 2 guys, man. He picked up a catcher. He picked up a couple of pitchers. He picked up a couple of hitters. Got a reserve infielder down in AAA, Will Wagner. If you need somebody who goes on the IL and you need another middle infielder, you got him down there, who's played actually in his brief big league career, played pretty well at the big league level. So he did everything possible. And he didn't have a lot of equity, quite frankly. But you know what? He got people to buy in, and some of the teams wanted to get rid of players, and he even got them to pay some of their contracts. He did it again. He had a magic wand. He got it done again. Joe, thank you very much. Very much appreciate that. Okay, National League standings. Let's take a look at the standings. We're going to take a look at both National League and wild card, and we'll take a look at the American League and wild card as well. Okay, Philadelphia pulling away from the New York Mets. Mets, they're having a rough go. Boy, I really feel bad for them. They're 64-55, 5 games back at Philadelphia. Kyle Schwarber, 42 homers right now. They've got a good ball club, great starting pitcher, Ranger Suarez, Zach Wheeler, and Christopher Sanchez. Those will be their 3 guys in the postseason. Aaron Nola trying to get healthy, but he was awful before the start of the year. But a 5-game lead. National League Central, as I mentioned, Milwaukee's the best team in the National League right now, 75-44. Look at that. What have they won? 11 in a row, I think now. Haven't they won 11 in a row? 7.5 games up on the Cubbies, 13 games up on Cincinnati. And then in the West, a 2-team race, and has been for several weeks now. Dodgers and Padres locked at 68 and 52. And you can see the ascension right there. Dodgers have dropped 6 out of their last 10. And the Padres have won 7 of their last 10. Again, the Dodgers over the last 32 games are 12 and 32. Let's take a look at the wild card. Because either the Padres or Dodgers are probably going to end up being the number 1 wild card. Right now, you got the Cubbies, 3.5 up, Dodgers and Padres right there. Mets, they'd be 3rd right now. But don't count out the Cincinnati Reds. Now, they're getting back Hunter Green today, and that's going to help their pitching staff. I do think the Mets will probably find a way to sneak it out. And the other team is kind of hanging in there a little bit on life support, or the St. Louis Cardinals, 4 games back. I don't think the Cardinals are very good, but hey, you know what? They keep scrapping and scraping and see what happens. But I think the Mets will probably end up being the 3rd team in the National League wild card, but that's the way it looks right now. Let's take a look at the American League today. See what we got in the American League, and then we're going to get to Coach's Mailbag. Okay, Toronto playing great baseball, and boy, we saw Boston. Even though the Padres took 2 out of 3 from Boston, they're a really good ball club, playing very hard for Alex Cora. 4.5 games back. Yankees, I don't think the Yankees are going to make it as far as the division. We'll get into the wild card in a minute, but 6 games back in the division. Tigers have really come back to the pack. Cleveland Guardians, I don't think they've got enough to overtake the Tigers. But I think the Guardians are definitely putting themselves in a very, very good situation for a wild card. And in the West, you've got, man, look at that. You got Seattle Mariners. I'm kind of pulling for Seattle. I'm not a big Houston Astro guy. And then you got Bruce Bochy's ball club falling off 61 and 66.5 games back. And the Halos trying to get back to the 500 mark right now at 58 and 62. Okay, let's take a look at the American League wild card here. It ought to be pretty interesting. Right now, obviously, you got the 2 teams tied in the American League West, the Astros and Mariners, and you got the Red Sox, and you got the Yankees hanging in there. But look at the Guardians. And you know what? Don't rule out Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers. They've got some pitching. Their hitting's been really up and down and all around this year. Their hitters, a guy like Seager's gotten a little bit better, but Marcus Semien, since the All-Star break, is hitting about 180. He hitting well under 200. They got to get him going. Kansas City 4 games back. I don't think they have the wherewithal to jump up over those other teams, but it's going to be a real battle, I think, for that 3rd wild card spot in the American League. So there you have it. But don't rule out Bochy's ball club, and definitely don't rule out the Cleveland Guardians. Wouldn't it be amazing if both the Mets and Yankees missed the playoffs? Oh, that would be just too good of an off season for us out here on the West Coast, listening to them bitch, moan, and complain. So there you have it. Okay, let's get to Coach's Mailbag today, and these are 3 questions from our last show. See what we got today. Bingo Strawn. This team is on fire lately. What do you think changed besides the new additions through the trades? Well, I think getting Michael King back, even though he didn't pitch well the other day, 2 innings plus 1 batter in the 3rd. He'll be better this weekend, I would hope, at Dodger Stadium. Nestor Cortez, I think, has pitched pretty well his first 2 times out, even though he didn't have a win to show for it. The bullpen's deeper now, but also the offensive lineup. I mean, Cronenworth has actually shown a heartbeat offensively. Not that he's having this miraculous season, because he's not. But he has made himself a little bit tougher out. And then you got Laureano, who's hit 7th. You got Freddie Fermin, who doesn't strike out, hitting 9th. The batting order just gotten a lot deeper. And it makes the guy in front of you and the guy in back of you makes you better. And I'm sure these guys now are getting some better pitches to hit because they've got a guy behind them protecting them a little bit. But at the end of the day, these guys believe they're doing little things. I mean, Mike Schilt right now, I think the Padres lead the world in sacrifice bunts. They definitely lead the world in safety squeezes this year. And they haven't done that a whole lot lately. But when they have done it, it's worked. Even when the other team knew it. I mean, when Martin Maldonado was still here, they tried 2 times in a row. Foul off the first one or take it for a strike, do it again, boom, and it'll work. I mean, they're bunting the ball all over the place. They're doing a good job. And that tells me they've been working on it in practice. So they're doing all the little things, taking the extra base. Last night I thought, and I couldn't really criticize Manny because he ended up scoring. But that fly ball that got lost down the right field line, I thought if he was busting it out of the box rather than feeling sorry for himself on a high fly ball, probably should have got to second base. Now, he eventually came around and scored. But I thought maybe a younger player, maybe a veteran wouldn't be able to do that, but maybe a younger player would have been on second base. But for the most part, Padres are doing all the little things and doing them really, really well right now. Bingo Strawn, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, I've got a couple more. Own Eater, is this the most exciting series versus LA in a while? Didn't think the Pods would have a chance like this. You know what? Yeah, because first place is on the line. But I mean, last year, every time they played, it was huge. When they played last time in LA or San Diego, it was huge. But now, uh, the Padres were like what 3 or 4 games back at that time. Now you're playing for first place, and both teams. And I know the Padres will stay focused. Dodgers trying to win a game. They've lost 3 in a row. They beat Toronto on Friday and Saturday, lost on Sunday, and then lost first 2 games to the Angels. So they've lost 3 in a row. And they're kicking themselves, and they're a lot of their guys are looking down on top of their shoe tops right now. They got to find a way to fight back. Padres come to the ballpark, man. They got a little more bounce in their step today. Not only are they playing the final game, they got a chance for a sweep. They're going to get on an airplane. They're going to get to LA. They know they got an off day tomorrow. They're going to have a great dinner tonight, get some rest, and have some fun in LA tomorrow and be ready to go on Friday night. Padres right now are playing with house money. They're playing with house money. And go out there today, play a good solid ball game, kick butt, get to LA and have a beautiful dinner and enjoy some free time tomorrow. And I'd imagine some of the families will drive up and visit with the players, and they'll probably have another nice meal tomorrow night and get a lot of rest and be ready to head to Dodger Stadium by about 1:30, 2 o'clock on Friday for a big series. Then they come home Monday night, got first of 4 against the Giants, and then the Dodgers right back at it again. All right, give me one more here. What else we got today? Run Ostrad. If only Tatis hadn't been having such an off year, I think we could have been in first by now. Well, you know what? That's baseball. We could say the same thing about the Dodgers and Mookie Betts having the worst offensive year of his career. We could talk about, different guys here and there. It is what it is. That's baseball. That's baseball. Hey, before I get out of here, I got to give you the pitching matchup for today. The young man that's going to be pitching for the Giants today has one major league win. His record's 1-1. He's going to be going against right-hander Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta already won a career high 11 games, 11-4 and a 2.94, going against right-hander Kai Wei Tang, 1-1 and a 5.40. He's pitching on 4 days rest, so that tells me he's going to go 3 or 4 if he can go that far against the Padres, and then they're going to the bullpen. And that could be a little bit scary for the Giants. Bob Melvin, even though he got his contract extension picked up under a tremendous amount of heat, but Buster Posey, the fair-haired son of the San Francisco Giants, I think taking even more heat than Bob Melvin for not maybe getting another arm or another bat. They got Rafael Devers, who hadn't been great, but you know what? That's baseball. That's the way it rolls. Okay, now Friday we'll be on Friday morning. I've got a guest. I've got to confirm, but it's somebody you know and somebody you like, and somebody will give us some great insight. And I'll leave it at that because I've got to confirm it with him today. But anyways, thank you very much for tuning in. Would very much appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel, trying to build that viewership up. Please like the program. Please tell a friend. You can follow me on Facebook at John Kentera and on X at Coach Kentera 44. On X at Coach Kentera 44. For my producer, Jonathan Oliveri, Coach John Kentera will chat with you again on Friday morning at 9 a.m. Have a great day. Enjoy the Padres game. Go Padres. Bye-bye.